Yes, people, you know the drill. Welcome back to the channel. The F1 preview for this weekend. We're finally live. Obviously, last night was a bit of a, I would say, it was kind of a tiring night. I can't lie. You know, the F1 over here, the times for Canada, Vancouver, the time zone is crazy. The time zone from here to Canada is crazy. So 3 a.m. I couldn't watch the whole quali, so I had to watch the highlights back. So King, you're gonna have to kind of help me here on the stream. But yeah, I did watch it back, but at the same time, the rest of the lads were agreed that it was gonna be too late, so we might as well just move the preview, and they'll be back with the preview, the review. Sorry, excuse me. They'll be back with the review. So Augustia, Liam, they're not here for the preview, but they're here for the review. So make sure you guys do tune into that. But tune into this one as well. Make sure you guys liking and subscribing. King's channel, I will put it in the title right now, as I will link it right now. So subscribe to his channel. Get him to 35 subs by the end of today's video, possibly, or maybe even 40 subs if you can. That'd be great. Because like I said, King's channel is very undersubbed. But how are you doing, King, man? How are you doing, bro? How are you feeling out of this race, man? Like, what's your...
I'm all right. I'm all right. Ferrari were not the greatest, I think, in terms of qualifying. There were some surprises, obviously, with Q1 as well. There was a couple penalties. I think what's his name? Hajar got a penalty for impeding, and then see Yuki got his 10 grid penalty. So we'll
Yeah.
we'll we'll go through each phase because I think each phase was interesting, especially of how close it was between the teams, and then right at the end, yeah, just shocked by the ending. Actually, a bit shocked by the ending.
Shout out to you, Rasta. Like I said, people, King's links in the title, so make sure you guys do subscribe to his channel. He's very, very undersubbed. He needs to get there. He needs to get back to what he was very, very soon, man. So yeah. Sorry, King, continue, bro. Continue.
Yeah. So no, if anything, I'll just start with what happened in quali one. So obviously, quali one was was a bit weird, because this was the first time that Gasly didn't make it out of Q1. Carlos Sainz didn't make it out of Q1, but he got impeded by Hajar, which led him free grid penalty. It was unfortunate for Sainz because he was on a really quick lap, so he would have got through if he never got impeded. So
Yeah, it was impeded. Yeah, he was 100% impeded.
I think in terms of qualifying for Alpine, this was the first time that Gasly has been out qualified by his teammate. So that's good for Colapinto as well. It was good to see him improve as well. So yeah, I think those were the two standouts. And then outside of that, not much else in terms of Q1. I think everything else was pretty standard going from there. And then into like Q2, I would say there wasn't really much shocks. Well, there wasn't really many shocks. I think the top 10 was pretty much the 10 you really expect to be there. You expect one Williams, you expect one Racing Bulls in Hadra, and then you expect a couple Ferraris, a couple Mercedes, one Red Bull. Also, I would say this: Alonso was very quick on the mediums, so that's going to be one thing to be very interested in. Like, he did most of his quickest laps on the medium tires, so that was very interesting. That a lot of the time he was using medium tires, so he has a lot of spare softs for the race. So his strategy can be very aggressive, I would say.
100%, 100%. And obviously, we have George Russell taking the pole off of his biggest rival, Max Verstappen. That is drama, that is top drama in quality. I think we can safely say, or almost safely say, that George Russell got his revenge on Max Verstappen for what happened in Spain.
Yeah, definitely.
We
I
can pretty
think it
much
was
say that
karma.
it was revenge.
I think that's what it was. I think it was karma. It is
100%.
interesting that it's them two in the front row. Because everything leading up to that point I didn't see that Mercedes being able to get the pole. I think it was, for me, up to that point it was between the two McLarens and Red Bull. but he just pulled out a wonderful lap right at the end. I the only thing I would say about them two being on the front row is I can see them having a crash. I don't know. I feel like as much as you know,
I'm nervous for that start tomorrow. I'm
yeah,
nervous for that start, man. I'm
yeah,
very nervous. I don't know what's gonna
yeah.
happen.
And Verstappen can't afford to do it because he's got penalty points. Because if he gets a penalty point, he misses the next race. So it's going to be very interesting the start of that race with them two up top. I think
I don't
it's
think
one of
that's
those starts where Drive to Survive is like this, rubbing their hands together like Birdman. Can't they can't wait to see all the drama.
yeah. No, but
But
I don't
yeah,
think Max should be racing today, anyways. In my opinion, obviously what happened last time, I think he should be
yeah,
just
yeah,
one
yeah.
penalty.
But
One race.
it is where it is.
Nothing you can do.
He did apologize. He did a public apology, which and acknowledged
I
that
did
he
say
was at fault,
I did
which
say
I
he
didn't
was gonna
expect.
like he wasn't gonna go up to he wasn't gonna man up to go up to George Russell and say that he was gonna what do you call publicly apologize, or he
Yeah,
actually publicly apologized rather than go up to George Russell and be like I'm sorry. You know
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. They're rivals. They ain't gonna apologize to face. They're gonna apologize indirectly. I already knew that
yeah,
was gonna.
yeah.
But sorry, continue.
But there's still a bit of tension there. I think there's still a bit of tension there. So that's going to be very intriguing. Yeah, I would say George pulled out a wonderful lap. He was the only one to I think go sub under 111. I think right at the end there. So um, for me, that was really impressive by him. I think he's had a wonderful season so far, and yeah, the Ferraris in terms of the yeah, they were disappointing. I think they could have had better laps. Lando was disappointing. He should have had a better lap. So there was, I think there is pace in the Ferrari. I just think they just didn't put the laps together
Leclerc
correctly.
once again in the pits for the last lap. I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah,
Why is Charles Leclerc in the pits once again for the last lap? Why doesn't he go out to race for a higher finish? 2 races now, by the way, this has happened. Back to back races now that they've put Charles Leclerc's car in the garage for the last lap
yeah,
instead of actually getting him to race and get a higher position.
yeah. I think they made mistakes in terms of when to take him out and what tires to use. I think they made mistakes in that regard. I think me personally, what for Charles' side of the garage. Hamilton, he was pretty racy. He was close, but he just didn't have the pace of the rest of them. Um, lovely. He fought by Kimi as well. But yeah, I said the two disappointments for me was Charles and Lando. Um, I think they had there was more in both of their cars. They shouldn't be
We'll do.
seventh and eighth
We'll
and
do. We'll
behind.
accept. We'll accept the flowers. Thank you, Reggie. Thank you.
Yeah,
Big ups
love
you.
that.
Big
Love
ups you.
that. But yeah, I just feel like Alonso, if you're behind the Alonso, then you've had a bad qualifying because
Mm.
as great as he driver he is and he outdrove that Aston Martin, um I think them two would be disappointed in their qualifying. In terms
Mm.
of the race tomorrow, as I said, the front two is going to be very interesting. It's going to be it's good to see the two Mercedes up there as well. So there's going to be more competition. It's going to be interesting to see the types of strategies that each teams use. Well, actually, no, for today technically because it's later this evening. For
From
this
for
evening,
me, for me, it's tomorrow.
yeah,
It's in 3 hours and it's like literally in. It's at 1 a.m. So
yeah.
yeah, it'll be in 3 hours. So
Oh
no,
my
you're not.
god,
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. As a Ferrari, I can't lie. Yeah,
it was disappointing. It was
at
disappointing.
least they managed to finish in the top five, which is not a bad thing. Top five for Ferrari was an okay. I was like, you know what, Lewis Hamilton, I'll take top five for this weekend.
Yeah, the car had more in it though. I feel like the car had
No,
a
I
bit
agree.
more in it.
That's why I was a bit confused as to why Charles Leclerc once again his car was brought back into the garage for the final lap. It's happened back to back races now, bro. Like Charles
Mm,
Leclerc could have got a higher place last time, and this time he could have got an even higher place as well. So yeah, like I said, they don't utilize their pace in the final lap enough, in my opinion. They had a lot more. You're right, a lot more. But
yeah,
at the same time, though, I think Lewis Hamilton. I think he'd be ambitious though. I think we can be a bit ambitious about this weekend though. I think top three is possible.
Yeah, you can be very aggressive, and if you get a good start, you can definitely be up there. As I said, the front two, that's a crash waiting to happen. I
Safety
believe.
car galore. This is going to be
Yeah,
safety
yeah,
cars
yeah,
galore.
yeah. This is going
Because
to be a
bro,
very racy race.
it
You
is a
can,
it is a very very slippery track. Did you see the way that? Did you see the way the drivers were racing? Not
yeah,
racing practice as well. You could tell the track is not easy. The grip is not easy for this weekend. The
yeah.
grip is
Especially
gonna
at the start.
manage the front wing very 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 well. The front, forget
Mm-mm.
the tires. It's the front wing this weekend. This is the front wing race.
Exactly. And speaking of Charles as well, he did crash in practice, so his practice was a bit underutilized as well. So he made a mistake
Yes,
himself. So he needs to improve
I
on that.
love Charles.
That's a thing that he does a lot. He does he crash in practice. He's better than that. He ain't Lance
I
Stroll out
hate
here.
I hate laughing at crashes, but as for Charles, this it's almost funny. It's almost funny.
Yeah, yeah. He needs to improve on that. I think because that thing it lets him down a lot of the time when it comes
Okay, bro. Okay.
to the practice. Because if the problem with crashing in practice is that it messes up the rest of your weekend because you get less race simulators, less time to actually understand the track. And when it comes to racing, the car changes each year. The type, the how the track works changes each year. The speed you can go changes each year as well. So this is I think one of the quickest races in terms of like qualifying since like 2017. They were saying 2019, 2017. So the car's a
Mm,
lot quicker than recent years. So for me, I think that was probably also why Charles didn't have the best of qualifying because his practice wasn't perfect either because of that crash. So that's another thing that he has to work on. But overall, I think it was just I think the Mercedes had unlocked a bit more pace than our car did. Um, and yeah, and yes, the challenge for Lando and Charles is that they need to get past Fernando quickly. If they stay behind him in after the first lap, they're not gonna have a good race because he's
mm,
one of the worst people to be behind because he will just create a train, and if
yeah,
he creates that train, yeah, you're gonna lose a lot of time compared to the front runners. So I think if I'm Charles and Lando, I'm trying to have the best start possible. I'm trying to get past Fernando, get past him, and what if you can get past him, then you can have a good race weekend. Um, if you don't, then it's gonna be it's gonna be a long time. It's not gonna be a fun time behind Fernando. Because even though he says always leave the space, he never leaves the space. I'm gonna tell you that for
mm,
a fact. When it comes to defending, he's one of the greatest out there because he never leaves the space, and so that's gonna be interesting for them too. Um, Unfortunate for Hadjar, he got let down by his race engineer, so he got a free grid penalty. He should be in
yeah,
the top 10. But Colapinto's 10th. So that's good for him. First time he as I said, first time he out qualified his teammate. He's finally getting used to the car, the Alpine, and he's showing his speed. So yeah, man. I'm happy for Colapinto because I think he's a quality driver. I think he's one of the top rookies out there. I think the four
yeah.
rookies for me, when I look at four rookies that can be something over the next years, Behrman, Colapinto, Hajar, and
Okay.
Kimi. Those are the four that you look out for to be the top
Yeah,
dogs really going forward.
and
Uh
the rookies are not in top quality cars. But sorry, go finish first. Finish first.
no, well, I think it's better that way. I think it puts more pressure on you if you're in the top car straight away. If you I think Kimi can handle the
Kimi
pressure.
handles it. He's handling
He's
it good.
handling the pressure. Luckily, it's not the best of the best Mercedes. It's not prime time Mercedes, Lewis Hamilton Mercedes.
Yeah,
So it's not like they expect him to be winning races. So that's a different level of pressure. But he's getting top tens, and that's all they expect. Get yourself into Q3, have a good qualifying, and he's doing that, and he's having good races, and he's getting good points. So
yeah,
that's all you can really expect from him. But if you put a car that's has the ability to win and ability to get pole,
yeah,
then that's when the pressure comes in. So maybe in the next couple of years, you're going to see a bit more. See how Kimi handles that extra pressure when Mercedes becomes a better car, if predictions are to be correct. But yeah, I think overall it was a very um exciting qualifying because the Mercedes came to play, and for me, you know what? I'm not gonna. For me, as a Ferrari fan, I was upset, but as a Formula One fan, the lap from George, exceptional. You see, it's like the cherry on top of his season for me. I think he's had a great
It's
season
like
so far.
finally McLaren have been found out slightly.
Huh?
It's like
McLaren? No,
slightly
no, no. I just
not
think
found
it's a
out in that sense, but like found like in terms of maybe this weekend, maybe not their weekend.
yeah. It's not been their weekend. They've been caught up a bit. I think over this course of the season they'll be caught up because when it comes to Formula One, this is the problem. When you're at the top, there's only so much quicker you can go. So when it comes to like McLaren, the amount of milliseconds that they can take away from the speed of that car, there's
Yeah.
there's a point of you can't go any further. But every other team is improving,
Mm.
catching you up. So I feel like for McLaren, it's easier for other cars to catch up to McLaren or McLaren to stay ahead. Because when you're on top, it's hard to stay there. So when you look at the dominance of a Mercedes or the Red Bull in recent years, or the Red Bull in the past, or when Ferrari did it,
Yeah.
it's impressive because they're able to find the next level, find that next piece
Yeah. It's just
of technology.
McLaren have been so dominant this season. It's like they're bound for a really bad weekend, and like this,
Yeah,
I think this is their bad weekend. Like
yeah,
because yes, Oscar Piastri is still he's still doing his thing. Lando Norris in P7, very uncalled for, very uncalled for. I
he
never
could have got
felt like
more out of the car. That was his fault.
yeah, I felt P7 was very uncalled for. I didn't expect P7, but at the same time, the fact that Ferrari finished above McLaren is a sign. Is a
Mm,
sign. The fact that Ferrari finished above McLaren in the in the qualifying is definitely a sign. I can definitely see maybe this weekend being a weekend that I can look at, let's say, Ferrari and like attack attack the top three, attack the top
yeah,
three, top
yeah,
two, top three, potentially because in my opinion, I think Ferrari has a better pace when it comes to Max versus Ferrari. I think Ferrari got the better pace. I still think Max Verstappen's car is not the fastest out there. It's better strategically, but it's better. But in terms of pace, I think Ferrari has a lot more to offer than Max's car. So I think attack Max's car if you're within like the say, for example, if say nothing happens between the two drivers tomorrow at the start of the race, right? I'd say Ferrari need to attack Max Verstappen down the final. Let's say if they're within like 3 to 4 seconds, I'd say attack Max Verstappen's car. Go for it. Go for it. You have to go for it because for me, Max's car down the stretch might not be the quickest. It could be fast at the start, but strategically, it's only there because of strategy. It's not there because of pace. Pace for me, pace wise, Ferrari, Mercedes, faster for me. They look a lot faster than Max's car for me this year. But based off of this year only this year. Other years, I won't argue that. So I would maybe look at Ferrari tomorrow and say attack second and third. Try it because Lewis has already got P5, right? That's about 2 places just behind third. That's good enough to attack third, right? Assuming nothing happens between Max and George Russell tomorrow, um, I reckon Ferrari have a good shot. They have a good shot at getting top three, both drivers.
it's possible it would need a couple of the big rivals to crash for that to happen.
I know something will happen because I know something will happen, bro. I know something's gonna happen. You
I
just
think
know.
so. I think so too. I feel like it's inevitable. I think the recent races have
The
been too clean.
apology is all just like it's all for the clicks online. It's not. He actually didn't apologize. I'm telling you right now. He didn't apologize. You watch tomorrow.
Maybe, but I think he understood that he was in the wrong. But I would say this. I would say this when it comes to the race. I'm not really sure on Ferrari's race pace. As I said, Lewis hadn't had the best weekend up until uh practice free and quali, and then obviously Leclerc crashed in practice one. So we don't really know the true race pace of the Ferrari in terms of one side of the garage. So it's going to be interesting to see the race pace of the Ferrari compared to the Mercedes, the Red Bull of Max, and the McLarens. I still think the McLarens will have the best race pace. So for me, it's going to be interesting to see how quickly
Mm.
Oscar gets past Max and George, and then after that to see how quick Max and George are. Because and also this season has shown that if you're what first after the first lap, it's easier to for tire management. So whoever's leading the race, they're gonna have a lot better chance of having the best race possible, because when it comes to the tire degradation, it's better to be in clean air. If you're in clean air, you're in a lot better position. That's why I said for Lando and Charles, they need to get ahead of Fernando, because being behind a car that is slower overall is going to be bad for your tires, and it's just going to be bad for your overall race
Yeah,
pace as well.
tomorrow's tire they have to utilize the tires properly as well, because like I said, the track is not great in terms of grip, and
Yeah,
front it's gonna be a front wing race tomorrow
yeah,
or
definitely,
today.
definitely, definitely, definitely.
So, but if all let I'll ask this one question, and we'll go to predictions. Yeah, all if all cars on this really gripless track, right, had their best tires on, who would be the fastest car in your opinion?
Oh, McLaren would be
You still think
fastest.
you still think McLaren for this weekend? I'm just talking about solely for this weekend. Just this
Yeah,
weekend.
yeah, they're still the fastest in my opinion. I feel like both of them failed in quali.
I
I
think
think they could have
Mercedes.
got more.
I think
No,
Mercedes.
I don't think Mercedes are the quickest. I don't think the
You don't think
Mercedes
so?
are quickest. No,
I'm talking about solely this weekend, not overall. This weekend alone. This
no,
weekend
no.
alone.
Yeah, for me, every weekend
Okay.
until I'm proven wrong, I think McLaren are the quickest. I think Mercedes are probably second. I would say that Mercedes are second.
I'd argue Ferrari are up there as well, because Ferrari, yes, they've not finished the race strong, but they still have, it's because their qualifying ain't great. That's why.
Well, they're
It's
third. Ferrari are third, but they can also be second. As I said, I'm not really
Yeah.
sure of Charles's race pace. Lewis has struggled over the weekend. I said that. So for
Mm,
me, it would go McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull. But Max's Red Bull would be second above the Mercedes. The other
mm.
Red Bull is fourth. But the other Red Bull got a 10 grid penalty, so he started from the back. So it'll be interesting. Also, I would put Williams fifth. I think the Williams are quicker than they showed, because obviously Carlos got hindered, and I feel like Albon was the best of the rest for me. Outside, and then Alonso, I think Alonso outperformed the car. He performed miracles with those medium tires. Um, the old fox showed new tricks. That's what I would say about him. So yeah, I think it's the same five. I think it's the same order. I just think um it'll be interesting to see if I'm wrong, because maybe you're right. Maybe Mercedes is quicker this weekend. Maybe,
Yeah,
but,
just on call this weekend.
but
But yeah,
in terms of quality, yes. But in terms of race pace, I don't know, because
yeah.
I don't
I
know.
just, I just don't think Ferrari qualifying is that great. I'll be honest with you. It's the qualifying that lets Ferrari down massively. The qualifying is where Ferrari throw their race away. Because in a couple of races this year, I thought Ferrari definitely had the chance to win, or at least come second. And they just did not, they just don't do well in qualifying, bro. That's the problem. It's our qualifying that we, for example, one of the races where Ferrari shut up from 10th up until like fourth, fifth to fourth, one of those races, I was like, bro, if Ferrari had finished higher, they're winning this race because they looked the faster car.
No, 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 no. I don't think we'd ever win a race. But
But at
there's
least
been
come close. At least
weekends
come close. At least come close.
There's been weekends where we've been the second best car on race pace. Definitely, there's
Yeah,
been weekends where we've been second best.
that's why
Um,
I'm. Yeah, we
we've
need
never
to.
been the best. I don't think there's ever been a point where we've been the best on race pace. Because for me, every weekend up to this point, McLaren has been top. You can be second, because second is an open slot. It's an open slot between three cars: Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull.
Mm,
First is McLaren. Second is open slot depending on the weekend and depending on the how they set up the car. That's another important part, the setup of the car. I think over the weekend you saw the Ferrari got the setup better and better over the weekend, so hopefully it's a much more drivable car for them. Um, but it seems like for me, I think this weekend it's McLaren, Mercedes, uh, Ferrari, Red Bull. That's what I would say, and then Williams. Those are the
Yeah,
five.
it's because the thing is, like, Carlos Sainz, obviously he had an impeding issue this weekend, so I think that's why he kind of lost his place in Q2. I think
Yeah.
I kind of took it away, but at the same time, nothing you can do about it now. No penalties involved, in my opinion. I think impeding was, it's not a penalty, but it's a bit of
No,
like a,
it is. It is. Hadja got a free grid penalty.
oh yeah, he did. I sorry about, I forgot
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Got that
Yeah. It
penalty.
wasn't his fault. It was his engineer, and that's a thing. When the engineer is telling you the wrong information, it's never good because the engineer told him basically that Signs aborted the lap when Signs was on a push lap. So that was the
Yeah,
miscommunication.
100%.
Yeah.
But you see that? But you see the issue is, bro. Like, it's the qualifying that lets us down, bro. So I'm looking at this weekend, be like, we've been let down again by Charles Leclerc's garage stop.
Yeah. But I think he let himself down this weekend. He crashed
So
in practice, as I said. So it's not been the best weekend for him so far. He has to show out in the race. He has
but
to have a great race.
I reckon we've got a good shot this weekend potentially to get at least top three. But anyways,
I think Lewis is most likely to be up there.
no, I
Most
think so.
likely to be up
He
there.
seems like he's a faster car this weekend.
Yeah.
Obviously, P5 is not a bad result, but could have been better. But
Yeah.
anyways, on to predictions. Can you give me a top three and dark horse, please?
Top three. Okay.
And dark horse.
Oscar Piastri to win.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I have a weird feeling that George and Max are gonna do something in in that first lap. I just feel I have
Same.
a feeling. That's why as much as much it would be easy to say them to second and third, I just feel like they're gonna do something's gonna happen. One of them's gonna hurt one or the other, and yeah, I don't like it. Yeah, it's not a very good feeling when you see them two as the first two. So I'm gonna do it based. I'm gonna give you two predictions. One based on if there is no crash, and one if there
Yeah,
is
that's
a
fine.
crash.
That's fine.
If there is no crash, it'll be Oscar, George, Max. If there
Okay.
is a crash, it'll be Oscar, Lewis, Lando.
Okay. Not Charles Leclerc.
No, he's just too. He's too far back, and he'll finish fourth or fifth. Because I still
What
think Lando will finish ahead of him because he's ahead of him in the grid.
and who's your dark horse?
Alonso.
Okay.
Because he's got a lot of soft tires available, so he's going to be very aggressive. His strategy is just going to be straight. He's going to be annoying. Anyone behind him is going to have a long day. So I think,
Yeah.
and if there's any crashes,
He can
yeah, and
defend
if
the lead.
there's,
He can defend the lead well. Sorry,
yeah,
go on.
exactly. And he's going to be on soft tires because he's got a lot of spare soft tires. So he's just going to be straight speeding it. So that's the thing. That's the issue being behind him is because I think he'll start on soft tires while everyone else will probably start on mediums. And he's just going to try and get ahead of as many people and annoy as many people as possible. And he can do it. And there's pace in that car for some reason. There's pace in that car with him as well.
Hmm. My predictions. Oh, this is gonna be tough. I'm gonna go with. Damn. I don't even know.
It's
I
a
don't.
difficult one. It's a difficult one.
I don't know, man. It's because the track grip this weekend is also very, very difficult. I'm expecting a lot. I'm expecting a lot of red flags and crashes this weekend. It's gonna be
Yeah.
very, very hard to manage when you're racing on the turn.
George can also win the race this weekend very
Yeah, he
easily.
can. He can. 100%. It'd be funny to see George Russell win the race after all the karma after all that karma. You know what I mean? After all what Max Verstappen did, it'd be very,
Yeah,
very funny. It'd be very, very funny to see him win the race. I'm gonna go with. I agree with you. I think Oscar will come first. I think Max will come second, and I'm gonna go Lewis Hamilton to come third.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
I just have a feeling Lewis Hamilton might have a bit more in him this weekend to come third.
Maybe. But that Mercedes does look very racy. So watch out.
I did send you the Portugal and Lewis Hamilton streak, by the way. So
yeah, but that's gonna take a. If that happens, that will be a miracle. That's like
that's gonna come to
a minimum. I'm guessing there has to be a crash in the first lap. 3-4 cars get taken out, and he's the only one left. Like last match.
Yeah. I know what you mean. My dark horse, George Russell.
No, he's not a dark horse.
Only because I didn't put him into the top 3. That's why.
I think Lando is probably a dark horse. It's funny. It's not really a dark horse, but he is because of how far back he is.
I don't know who a dark horse, but maybe Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, Charles, Lando, Alonso, one of them.
Yeah, I'll go Charles Leclerc just because of my Ferrari bias. I'll put Charles Leclerc as my dark horse. I like the Alonso shout, but I don't really see it. I think Charles Leclerc might be a bit faster this weekend.
I don't think. I think he'll be. I think he's got pace and he's gonna have an aggressive strategy because I said, yeah, he's got tires available.
It's on race weekend. Charles Leclerc is more demanding. I mean, sorry, continue what you're saying.
No, go on. What you were saying, Charles is more demanding.
Charles is more demanding on race day than he's on qualifying. So
yeah,
it's gonna be a different day. But sorry, finish what you're saying.
Also, I think Ferrari normally put their car in trim for race. Or no, in terms of the way they put the car in terms of what's it called, ride height and everything. They're more focused on the race than quali. They still need to kind of get that balance. But I'm just saying Alonso is gonna be he's just gonna be he's gonna be a surprise package for me. I think there's not really one just because of how high up he is and obviously the tires that he has available to him. I don't think anyone else. I would have said Hajar, but he got the grid penalty. It'll be interesting to see what Albon does as well, and I hope Colapinto gets some points as well in the Alpine.
And you want to say anything bold or want to say anything before you wrap up? Before you close out, you want to say anything before you wrap up, or anything bold you want to put out there? You want to throw out there? Any prediction you might want to throw out there?
You know what? If your Portugal thing is true, I hope Lewis does win. He deserves it. But
no, he does.
I don't think it's gonna happen. If anything, my bold prediction is we're gonna see the first Mercedes win.
Okay. Anything else before you close out?
Yeah. No. Well, Carlos will be the most overtakes on the weekend as well.
You think Carlos Sainz will overtake the most on the weekend?
Yeah,
because he finished quite low, didn't he? So he's gonna have to overtake. I hear you.
Yeah, and he's pissed. So a pissed Carlos with that car, and he's gonna be quicker than a lot of cars ahead of him. It's gonna be a smooth operator. Smooth operator. That's what it's gonna be.
I miss those in Ferrari, man. I miss that in Ferrari, man. Hopefully one day it comes back and does it again. But listen, it is what it is. But people, we are gonna close out. We are gonna watch the Club World Cup in about half an hour, so we'll be back after the F1. The NBA stream will be moved. I will move the NBA stream, so ignore the 11 p.m. NBA stream. That's not going to happen. I just scheduled it for 11 p.m. just in case, or 11 p.m. my time. Excuse me. I will move the time maybe to tomorrow, or depending on when Justin responds. But yeah, King, I will see you for the review. I guess that's what we got coming up, anyways. Unless you have anything else coming up on your channel before the race.
No. I'm just gonna be watching the Club World Cup and the race.
Yep.
Everyone enjoy the Club World Cup, enjoy the Formula One, enjoy the different sports. It's gonna be a good weekend.
Yep.
Prediction?
Bayern Auckland 5-0 Bayern. I'm gonna go 5-0 Bayern.
5,
Five.
10.
Oh, okay.
Strict
Okay.
spanking settings. That's
Yeah.
what it should. That's what it should be. If depends. To be honest, actually, it's not gonna be. It's not gonna be that many. I think it's gonna be 2 or 3, just because Bayern are gonna be tired and they're not gonna take it
Mm-mm.
that serious.
They might play rotated. So I'm not sure. I haven't seen the lineup, but apparently it's. But
Probably rotated as well.
yeah. Anyways, people. Yes, as Rasta says, we will be live on my channel for the United show. So tune into that one. I'll speak more about that again in the next show. So make sure you guys do keep an eye out for that. Obviously, the review show will be straight after the race if we don't doze off again like last night, because you know it is. Last night was late, so we dozed off. So, but anyways, we will be back. We'll be back for the review. Big up to you though, Rasta. Subscribe to Rasta Stocks channel as well if you haven't already, people. Rasta Stocks 2654. And for King, AFA Academy 93 in the title. Please make sure you get into at least 40 subs. 40 subs will do. 40
Yeah,
subs will do.
yeah, definitely.
Or number 44 like his hat.
Yeah, definitely. If I get to 44, yeah, I'm gonna, I'm in a good time. Good
Get
time.
him get him to a milestone. Come on, people. You know the drill. Subscribe.
Yeah.
On my channel,
One last.
you know the drill. The slogan on my channel is "You know the drill." I just
Yeah.
come up with. Sorry. Go on.
And one last thing, not Kick Salva, but Rumble. If you're into politics, authentic world analysis as well. I do
Yep.
that with Augustia, so that as well. And yeah, I'll be on Russ's channel. I'll be on AN Sports, talking all types of sports, whether it be Formula One, whether it be football, Club World Cup settings, and yeah, anything else along the way. And on my channel, I also do wrestling as well. So yeah, man. And I'm trying to
No,
get back into tennis, so I want to be there for the Wimbledon stuff. So
no,
I'll be
sure,
on here for Wimbledon.
sure, definitely, 100%. But yeah, people, that's us for today. Like, share, subscribe. For now, we'll be back in a few hours to review the race. Take care. Peace. Forza Ferrari.